Welcome, everyone, to a pop emergency episode of Seaweed Brain. This is when we log on at midnight and yap unedited for a brief period of time about some pop emergency occurring in our fandom. Today, it is that this weekend is D23, the D23 Expo, aka the Ultimate Disney Fan Event. It's this thing that Disney does for the paying members of the D23 Club. It's basically like a shareholders meeting. But
as much as anything, it's a shareholder. This is what we're planning to do for the year. We will earn money type of event.
Yes. And also like get hype for all of the upcoming projects. So they have big panels every year, you know, Marvel, animation, Star Wars, etc. They drop teasers. They give as much content as they can. And because Percy Jackson started shooting 10 days ago from when we are recording this, they managed to get up a literal like 55-second teaser trailer, which I'm sure if you're listening to this, you have seen by now. So we're going to discuss that in grave detail, and we're going to talk about the panel that happened today and all the exciting stuff that came out. Oh my gosh. Wow. Carter, how are you feeling?
It's a big day. I feel like in some ways, some people might be confused because the teaser is 50 seconds.
55.
And yet, wow. So much to discuss.
So much to discuss. I really can't get over the fact that they put this together in a week of shooting, which actually, honestly, I think was less than a week because there was a long weekend in Canada. So I think that they have had less than 7 days of shooting. Editing, horses, color grading, put it all together. Also, did they score it? Like, oh, where did the music come from? Very impressed. Let's talk about the teaser first, since that's what we're really here for. We begin with a voiceover from Walker. Going, My name is Percy Jackson. I'm a demigod. Monsters come at me. So do the gods. Last year, I had to stop a war. And all of this up to this point is old footage.
Yes. From season 1, we have our Ares, we have our Poseidon and Zeus, monsters, etc., etc. Yes.
And then we cut to black, and there's a horse whinny. And I immediately thought to myself, Blackjack! And then I was like, wait, he's not in this season. Oh no. It was not Blackjack. It
was not, yeah.
Horses. White horses.
Yes. And we do get some good actual horse footage before the actual shot of Walker. Which is important. Go horses, very, very majestic. They look good.
You know,
they look right.
This literally made me think justice for Father of Horses. If you followed along with our season 1 analysis episodes, we were so distraught that they cut Poseidon, what is it? Poseidon, Stormbringer, Earthshaker, Father of Horses.
They only did the first 2. They didn't give his third and most puzzling, but also quaint, memorable, singular. He needs something to really set him apart from the others, to remind you who he really is. Earthshaker, that's a little forgettable. Father of Horses, that's forever.
Yeah.
That's unique. But now, but we're coming back. We're circling back, and we see the horses.
And it's important because not only is this the chariot, you know, like he starts communicating with horses a lot this season, but there's also Rainbow, you know, coming up.
Yeah.
Seahorse energy.
The hippocampus, of course.
Yeah. And then, you know, we need to set ourselves up eventually for when Blackjack actually does appear. So my note to everybody working on the show who's listening to this right now is if we could just sneak in one Father of Horses dialogue. That would be great. Okay. And then we get like multiple flash shots of the chariot. This is going to be the chariot that Tyson designs for Percy. If you'll recall, Percy and Annabeth are supposed to do the chariot race together because every chariot is supposed to have 2 people, the person driving and the person fighting at the back of the chariot. But they have a little bit of a tiff, if I recall correctly, right? And so they don't work together because, you know, things are changing. As we know from the logline for this season, Percy's relationship with Annabeth is changing. And we aren't going to find reconciliation yet between the 2 of them. So this is the chariot that Tyson designs. And like, I love thinking that this entire time, Daniel Deemer is like sitting in the back of the chariot.
But was like chopped out of the shot.
And there is a trident on the front. And there's also teeth, which could be like seen as like shark teeth. But I was thinking Charybdis for the Sea of Monsters.
Yeah. Well, I think when you first see the teeth, to me, like my first thought is Charybdis. But of course that doesn't, I don't know. Maybe they're not shooting in order. My first thought was like, oh, they're shooting it in order. This is from the first 10 days of shooting because this is like one of the early scenes in the book. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Like maybe it could be the chariot from the end of the book, and it could be Charybdis, because we do get that. Well, I mean, in the book, it's on the shield, but we do get that idea of Tyson trying to commemorate, to create through art all of the different adventures that they go on in the Sea of Monsters. But in
Oh,
the book, it's on the shield, right?
it's definitely the beginning, but I think that it is, if it is intentional, like an intentional nod to what is to come, like a little design
Yes.
foreshadowing,
Yeah.
as
Design
opposed
foreshadowing
to,
is important. Yeah.
yeah, actual acknowledgement through character of what's about to come
Yeah.
and
I
their
don't think Tyson
decisions.
would be like, this is
Yeah,
Charybdis.
exactly.
But
He was like, shark teeth, ooh, pointy, scary.
yes.
There's also an antique ship wheel in the design, which I
That
thought was
genuinely
so
confused
cool.
me.
It's confusing, but I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
exciting.
is. It is.
Okay. And then the line, but that was just the beginning. And then we see Percy's hands gripping the leather reins, although we don't know if they're Percy's hands yet, but then we get bam, Walker's face. And this is the moment that it really got real for me. Like, wow, we're in the middle of shooting season 2. The commitment is so real. Like Disney really churned this out.
I think it's the rushing. The rushing is the reminder they needed something. And the fact that they needed something is reassuring. That's a
Yeah.
reminder to all of us that and this is important.
Uh-huh.
That the mouse needs this, needs us,
Yeah.
as it were, yeah.
Symbiotic relationship. I also, what confuses me is that Walker's face is like grimy and like covered in dirt already.
It looks like practical effects. This is so important. This shot, the more that
Well, they are real
we
horses
were both
also.
putting things into the Google Doc about this, I really feel so invigorated by this, because of all the details are right. The thing that you said about the color grading is great in this.
It's
It is
stunning. It's
giving
colorful.
light.
It's giving bright.
Bright. There's variation. There's saturation. The horses obviously look good. They're horses.
Yeah.
The details are right. It
Mhm.
feels very lived in.
Mhm.
Is that the word I want to use? Practical. That's important.
Real. Yeah. It feels like Camp Half-Blood is a place we've established, we know where it is, and now we're back home. That's really important for a season 2 vibe. Jules O'Loughlin, also cinematographer, just posted the camera, or one of the cameras that they're using to shoot season 2, and it's the Sony Venice Rialto 2. So shout out to that gorgeous
Shout out to
piece of
that.
metal. And glass. I also, while I was waiting for Carter, was scrolled through the Sea of Monsters and was like really interested to read the dialogue of this exact moment. And I think it's great to compare the text of the Sea of Monsters to the look on Walker's face in this shot, because we all know what a fan of the books Walker is, and we don't know exactly where this shot takes place. Again, because of the fact that his face is already grimy, I'm like, you would think this is the start of the race because he's gripping the reins, but why would he already be dirty? He does look dirty, right? Am I imagining that?
I mean, okay. So to flash back to the book, for those of you for whom it's been a second, this chariot race, he is against Annabeth because they get into that argument. So Team Athena separate. There's like immediately dirty play between some of the cabins. Like Hermes and Apollo very quickly like take each other out at the start line. And then this is the one that gets disrupted by the birds.
Yeah.
The birds that we find out like literal decades later in real lifetime are like Will Solis's childhood trauma.
Okay, Sun in the Star spoilers.
Ooh, that's my bad. But yeah, anyway, I guess that could also be a shot of that moment, plausibly, because then like the race would already be mostly complete.
Yeah.
Birds are attacking.
Okay.
Shot of him looking up at the birds, resolute, determined.
Yeah.
Dirt kicked up by the horses.
Mhm.
And then he has to go run with Annabeth up to go find some bad music to destroy them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dean Martin.
Once again, justice for Dean Martin. Why is Rick hate Dean Martin? This is it's been 4 years of doing this podcast, and it all comes back to justice for Dean Martin. So it could be that moment.
Does he hate Christmas? Like, damn. But yeah, it could be that moment.
But if it is the beginning, I want to read some of the book because I think it sets this shot up so well. Okay, here we go. Tyson was having trouble getting our horses under control. I had to talk to them a long time before they would settle down. He's a monster, Lord, they complained to me. He's a son of Poseidon, I told them. Just like me. No, they insisted. Monster, horse eater, not trusted. I'll give you sugar cubes at the end of the race, I said. Sugar cubes? Very big sugar cubes. And apples. Did I mention apples? Finally, they agreed to let me harness them. Now, if you've ever seen a Greek chariot, it's built for speed, not safety or comfort. It's basically a wooden basket, open at the back, mounted on an axle between two wheels. The driver stands up the whole time, and you can feel every bump in the road. The carriage is made of such light wood that if you wipe out making the hairpin turns at either end of the track, you'll probably tip over and crush both the chariot and yourself. It's an even better rush than skateboarding. I took the reins and maneuvered the chariot to the starting line. I gave Tyson a 10-foot pole and told him that his job was to push the other chariots away if they got too close and to deflect anything that they might try to throw at us. No hitting ponies with the stick, he insisted. No, I agreed. Or people either, if you can help it. We're going to run a clean race. Just keep the distractions away and let me concentrate on driving. We will win, he beamed. We are so going to lose, I thought to myself, but I had to try. I wanted to show the others, well, I wasn't sure what exactly. That Tyson wasn't such a bad guy, that I wasn't ashamed of being seen with him in public, maybe that they hadn't hurt me with all their jokes and name-calling. And that's what I think is running through Percy's mind in this 0.5 second shot.
Yeah.
And then bam, he like hayas the reins for the chariot, and then we cut to season 2 logo on this little like thrown together animation of a tattered Camp Half-Blood flag on a stormy beach. And then it says, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, new season based on the Sea of Monsters, in production now. Disney Plus logo with the little lightning crackles.
I wonder if that's how they're going to continue to discuss this season, as the season based on the Sea of Monsters. Because I guess it is true that for the first season, they kind of didn't say the lightning thief a lot. They just said, oh, it's Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which makes sense for a first season. But now, I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, and they were like, wait, so like each season is one book, right? And I was like, well, yeah. And I was like, well, yeah, that's obvious. But then they were like, oh, but is it? Is that obvious? Maybe it's not.
I'm glad that they made it obvious. I am.
Yeah.
I think it's
important.
Good
to clarify that. I wonder if there's a way to...
Can they colon it? Yeah. Can they say Percy Jackson and the Olympians colon the Sea of Monsters? No, because it's a TV show.
Can Disney Plus accommodate the kind of variation in the way that they process the content, so that instead of clicking season 1, season 2, you click between Lightning Thief and Sea of Monsters and just name the seasons the way you name books?
I think that'd be fun. Like, why not?
This seems possible.
They brought channels back. They can do whatever they want on Disney Plus.
You can name a season a name.
Yeah, let's do naming seasons a name.
Anyway, good to clarify that, though.
The music is epic. I'm really curious. Did they literally score and then record this music in this many days? Or did they just like cut together pieces of the already existing score? I'm not sure, but it's great. Loved it. Incredible.
Yeah, they did that.
Yay. Okay.
All right.
That's the teaser.
Casting.
Okay, yes. So that actually dropped, what is today? Today is Saturday. So that dropped Friday night. In typical Percy Jackson and the Olympians, everything drops just a little bit earlier than you're expecting it to, and everyone panics. And then the panel was today. So there were a bunch of people at the panel. It wasn't just the trio and Dan and John, but also Craig Silverstein, the new executive producer who was a writer last season, was there. And then a bunch of people showed up. Dior and Charlie came. Daniel Deemer, who's our Tyson, came. Toby Stevens was there. Jason Mantzoukas was there. There's also a new poster, which is that shot of the tattered Camp Half-Blood flag, right, on the beach, that says New Storm Rising. And that is, I'm guessing, the upcoming tagline that we're going to be using for the season based on the Sea of Monsters. And I think this is genius because not only is it giving classic book 2, season 2, movie 2, the stakes are getting elevated, but also the war that is brewing, of course, is rising with Charlie. Percy is having this like emotional storm with Tyson, and also with his relationship with Annabeth, which is changing, but also New Storm Rising. It's giving Talia grace. Welcome back, daughter of Zeus.
It's that. I do think it's also perhaps the most important level on which it works is that literally we're going to the ocean.
Sea storm.
And we haven't really done that much. It is important to me, branding wise, that we keep reminding people that this season is the ocean season.
Nautical.
That's fun. That's
the Mamma
branding.
Mia season.
Nautical. It's the Mamma Mia season. I better see some children running down a deck and then jumping with their knees tucked up into their chest into the water. Just once, as like a behind the scenes shot to get people hyped and be like, it's the ocean season.
Yeah, they're wearing nautical blue stripes to events. Like it's the ocean season.
Oh, I would die. Can you imagine? I want to see the little sailor suits. They should wear You know, like I want to see a little ribbon
No,
underneath a collar and then tied.
they did blue and white for San Diego Comic-Con. They
Yeah,
also kind of
but I
did
want to
blue and
see it.
white for today.
I want to see further. I want to see the I want to see, as I described, a tie under a collar, but like not a tie like an American tie, like a big ribbon.
Yeah.
Like imagine like a magical girl type of thing. I
Yeah.
want to see a hat
Uh-huh.
that is wider on the top than it is where it touches the head,
Yeah.
and it's white and it's a circle.
They had, I
You
don't
know?
know why at San Diego Comic-Con, but they had like an IMDb boat. That was a thing that people were like doing press at and like taking pictures. So they were having like a boat photo shoot moment, and Leah did have like a
Oh,
sailor
that's
hat.
cute. That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I don't know why IMDb had
Leah,
a boat though. They said it's the nautical season.
they were prepared for the
Yeah.
nautical season. Yeah.
Also, though, the
Wow.
tattered Camp Half-Blood flag, that's classic season 2. That is like, oh,
Yes.
remember that
That's
cool
literally ripping up your familiar.
Yeah. Remember that magical safe space that we established that you were so excited to come home to? Well, psych, you're coming of age now. Everything is different. Nothing is safe. You have to relearn the rules of the world around you and go on your next adventure.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's true. I remember, I think the first time reading the book, I read this after I read the Chronicles of Narnia for some reason, because my father was very into the Chronicles of Narnia, and they sold like all 7 books in one book at Costco.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
at
we had it
Costco.
lying around. Yes. One was all black, and there's like just like an abstract art of like a lion's head on the cover. I very much remember reading the first, like the moment Percy arrives to camp, and there's like the mechanical bulls, and clearly things are going awry, and he's like, how are they able to cross the line? What's going on? And it's like, this is just like Prince Caspian. Because it is true. This is what you have to do for the second season / the second book. When they return, you need to remind people that we're not just going back. We're doing a different thing.
Yeah.
And the different thing is the ocean.
We're going back, and where we're going back is no longer safe, and we must leave in order to find a way to make it safe again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other things that we found out, Charlie, I actually don't know if we knew this already, but Charlie and Dior are series regulars this season, which that's like a, specific contract term that basically means they are in more of the show. They are in the most amount of the show. They are part of the lead cast, which is really exciting. It means we're going to see a lot of them, which we would have anticipated.
Which makes sense, yeah.
But it's cool knowing that for sure they're going to be in many, many episodes this season. Okay. Here's the kicker. We also got casting for the Grey Sisters. It isn't us.
It's not us, unfortunately.
Sorry, I can't reveal that as information today.
We did our best.
Season 3 is coming. Don't worry. That's the season for the girlies, and we'll see you there. Okay, but you know who we do have as the Grey Sisters? 3 incredible female comedians who individually mean a great deal to me personally, and I'm sure to many people, probably to you as well, Carter.
Oh yeah.
Margaret Cho is playing Wasp. I love how they each got named. This is very important to me as well. Margaret Cho is Wasp.
They are, of course, named in the book, and they have very slightly different personalities.
Yeah.
Wasp is the most iconic.
I really, really want to know if they were specifically reading for like, it was like, well, Margaret Cho is going to go in for Wasp, but she can't go in for Tempest. That would just be a miscast, She's playing Wasp. Carter, tell everyone who Margaret Cho is.
Margaret Cho is truly an icon of American stand-up comedy. She was the first, I believe, Asian American to lead a sitcom in maybe American history in the 90s. All American Girl.
Okay, shout out to All American Girl. Yeah, it ran for 1 season on ABC in 1994. Huge part of Asian American television history.
Yeah.
It starred her. She was literally the lead. She was the titular All-American Girl. And it was about like a Korean-American family living in San Francisco, sort of like loosely based on her own upbringing.
But also, it was a fascinating situation of her kind of continuously pushing the boundaries, even within that premise, because she is, of course, famously, like, not an All-American Girl. She's like, if you see her today, she is someone who's been an out lesbian for many years, covered in tattoos, kind of angry, parentheses, positive, exclamatory, complimentary.
Yeah.
Yes. And like after that show got canceled after a year because audiences weren't prepared, the infrastructure wasn't really there to support it, she continued to kind of be like a very important like even more probably than before the show, icon of stand-up comedy, and an example of what it looks like to try to, especially at a time when you really had to be innovative about forging your own career path and putting together opportunities and tour routes and all those types of things for yourself. She really put that together. There was recently a Netflix. Did you watch this? The Netflix documentary about like gay stand-up.
Mm-mm.
But it's funny because she and Sandra Bernhard are both very prominently featured in that documentary.
It's called Outstanding.
Yeah, Margaret Cho is an icon. She is one of the great stand-ups, powerful lesbian. She's been in recently, like she's been in kind of a lot of stuff too.
She was just in Fire Island.
She was just in Fire Island and so funny in Fire Island. She is one of those people where like I don't even know what to mention as a credit of hers because she is in everything.
All over, long career as a stand-up comedian and also as a actor in TV and everything. Shout out to Margaret Cho as Wasp. Snaps for Margaret Cho as Wasp.
Yes.
Next, we have Kristen Shaw as Tempest. And speaking of somebody who you cannot cite like one thing that they are from,
she is in everything.
You might not know her name, but I promise you know her voice and probably also her face. She voices characters in Gravity Falls, BoJack Horseman, Bob's Burgers. She's in Our Flag
Important characters in all of these.
Yes, she was in 30 Rock. She's in What We Do in the Shadows. Most important to me, she plays number 2 in the Mysterious Benedict Society adaptation on Disney Plus. One of my favorite childhood media characters.
She so does.
Oh my god! And
that's
she was
very important.
so good in it, and you can't even watch it anymore because it isn't available on Disney Plus.
I think I first got to know her in 30 Rock, where she plays Hazel, what's her name, one of the most unhinged television characters I've maybe ever seen. And that's saying something. 30 Rock is a weird show. And Kristen Shaw maybe plays the weirdest, least grounded character on that show. Not Jane Krakowski. What is her name on Bob's Burgers? She's the daughter. That's not Tina. She's Louise on Bob's Burgers, primarily, right? Yeah, Louise Belcher.
Yeah, Louise. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was Mabel on Gravity Falls.
Yes, the lead. She really has done everything. It's true.
And I literally cannot tell you how good she is in the Mysterious Benedict Society. I cannot tell you how great the Mysterious Benedict Society adaptation was. It is literally the bane of my existence that not only did they not renew it for a 3rd season when there are multiple more books they could have adapted, but they literally pulled it off of the streaming service. Disney, listen to me. Listen to me. Put it back, okay? Just put it back. Don't tell anyone you're putting it back. Just put it back. Secretly, quietly, just as a little treat, okay?
Maybe you should like make the URL active, but then like don't make it searchable, and so like only the
unlisted
real
link.
Down girlies will know, and then the IRS like never has to find out.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. But I'm happy to see some people from Mysterious Benedict Society in here because, of course, James Bowman works on both projects, Percy and Mysterious Benedict Society. So it's really great to see her as Tempest. Everybody snaps for Kristen Shaw as Tempest. And then we have Sandra Bernhard, as we mentioned, as Anger. Also unbelievably long career as an actor and a comedian, starting in like, I believe the late 70s is when she kind of entered the scene, through the 80s and the 90s.
Yes.
Oh, and like even like she was most recently in season 2 and 3 of Pose. She plays the nurse. Yes. She's also in American Horror Story. She's voiced, again, like many animated characters. She was also in the Netflix doc Outstanding.
Yes. That doc actually really taught me. I did not know that much about Sandra Bernhard's early career, where she was like a live performance artist in New York, comedian, like very like politically radical, hugely involved in the like early AIDS activism movement. She and like Madonna made out on late night television. I didn't know about this. Like in the 80s.
Her big like first credit was in 1981 in this movie called The King of Comedy, which was a Martin Scorsese movie.
Yes.
But yeah, you can see her, I think. She's also in Roseanne. Talk about television history. She plays herself in Will and Grace, which is funny. We've talked about Will and Grace before on the podcast.
Have we?
Yeah, being like, I bet children these days don't know what Will and Grace is, but Will and Grace is really important.
You don't think the children were seated for the Will and Grace continuation from like roughly 2018 through roughly 2020?
We had you know when it was we had to talk about this was because of Megan Mullally last season.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm rewatching Smash right now.
Megan Mullally is in Smash?
No, I was talking Will and Grace. I'm talking about the great and good Deborah Messing and her scarves.
Yeah, you're talking about Deborah Messing. Everyone should watch Smash. Anyway, television history. Sandra Bernhard as Anger.
This is an iconic trio. When I tell you that I got Erica texted me about this, I was in the mall and like screamed. I upset so many strangers, but these are three people who really, when we talk about wackiness,
Yeah.
zany,
Goofy.
true, like genuine,
Goofy.
unpredictable energy,
otherworldly
charisma.
weirdness. I'm so excited.
It's going to be very good.
There's just not going to be enough of them. Like, there will simply not be enough screen time to really satisfy my craving for all three of these actors working together. But this is the kind of casting where, like, you don't have to write anything. You can just, like, plop them in and let them riff and then use that.
And be like, these are three sisters. They share one tooth and one eye.
Action.
Go.
I am literally so excited. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. Especially because they'll like pop in and out, you know? They'll come back.
Yes. When we were talking about fan casting for the show originally, this is kind of the energy we were on, where it's like, for so many of these parts, you're going to be there on set for a day. You're going to have a lovely Vancouver weekend. You will be on set for 1 day, maybe 2 days, and then you'll be on your way. And the show, I think now, it's right at that edge where, like, why not get Margaret Cho? Why wouldn't Margaret Cho say yes to a fun weekend in Vancouver?
Literally.
Stepping into an iconic new children's television show. Why not? All of which is to say, wow, when we talk about Athena fan casting for season 3, it's going to get real.
The sky's the
We're
limit.
going to be swinging for the fences. When we talk about Aphrodite fan casting for season 3,
there are no boundaries. It will be Gemma Chan.
Big.
Oh, gosh. It's going well. I think if we just
it's going well. This is very exciting.
He will appear at some point.
Oh my god. Who's there left for Manny Jacinto to play? Do you think he would make a good Apollo?
I was going to say Apollo.
Like in the book, Apollo's younger, but I kind of think it should be Manny Jacinto. I don't know.
I mean, they're going to have to cast somebody who's at least in their 20s, you know, even if they're playing young. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Manny Jacinto. It's going to work out. So that is our 3 Grey sisters. As Tawny, my roommate and former Seaweed Burn guest, lovingly put it, Grey sisters? You mean gay sisters? The casting director thought they asked for gay sisters.
Margaret Cho, iconic lesbian.
At least 2 out of 3 of these characters
Sandra Bernhard,
iconic queer comedians.
Queer person? Bisexual? I don't know.
Bisexual, I believe.
She identifies. Iconically queer.
According to Wikipedia, she's bisexual.
Okay.
I want a t-shirt that says, according to Wikipedia, she's bisexual.
Have you participated in any of the online historical trying to label people where people are like fiercely trying to like just like fight over what the Wikipedia is going to say the sexual orientation is of like a queer person who lived in the 1800s?
Oh, that's fun.
People are furious. They're burning calories. They are raising their body temperatures over whether or not you can determine whether or not somebody who had relationships with people of multiple genders literally in the 1700s should be called bisexual or gay. Sometimes not even in like a country where those words existed, you know?
Yeah.
It's really wild out here. But shout out to Sandra Bernhard.
Shout out to Sandra Bernhard. And one other thing we should discuss, I think, is the image that they released of Walker as Percy in full armor. This is like, you know, a little like teaser image, which is, many people have said, strikingly similar to the pre-season 1 image of Charlie as Luke in full armor. Similar, you know, like chest up shot, facing the same direction, same helmet, you know. Obviously, it's the same helmet, though everybody has the same helmet. But whether or not this was intentional, I think we should deeply read far into it and say that it is indicating further parallels between their 2 characters and how Percy has sort of grown into, I wouldn't say this Luke-like figure at camp because he's much newer still, you know, and much younger. But he does, you know, step back into the Sea of Monsters famously thinking that he is going to come to camp as this like cool person who, you know, fought monsters and like dared to defy the gods in book 1. And then Tyson is the one who sort of like throws a wrench in that for him. But he is occupying a new space, especially without Luke at camp now. And I think that we should really continue to think about that as we go into season 2 and read far too deeply into everything that they give us.
Yes. I was explaining to someone like an hour ago the structure of how like many of the books have a motif or like a myth that is constantly being referenced as like the
Yes.
superstructure
Mhm.
guide.
Book 1
Of
being
course, the Sea of
Theseus.
Mother is the Odyssey.
Mhm.
Book 3, Hercules. Book 4, Daedalus. Book 5,
Achilles.
arguably, like, I was like, is it the Iliad? Is it Achilles? Achilles is there, but I think that the person who actually like has a in book 4, we're like literally seeing Daedalus's life
Yeah.
in Percy's dreams. Book 3, we're seeing Hercules' life in Percy's dreams. In book 5, we are seeing Luke's life in Percy's dreams.
Carter.
Like, in a way,
Carter, please.
Luke Castellan's story is the like.
Please.
I mean, yeah, okay, it's
You're
kind of
hurting me.
Achilles
No, ow.
because it's kind of the Iliad, but also isn't it kind of Luke? I think we're kind of like learning the lessons of how not to be like Luke
I'm in
in
pain.
book 5.
This is the
The
worst
way that
thing
we're
you've
learning the
ever
lessons of how
said.
to not be Daedalus in book 4 and how to not be Hercules in book 3.
That's literally the worst thing you have ever said to me. Wow. You're right.
Anyway,
Isn't it a shame after 4 years of this podcast we can still say new things and have original thoughts?
it's gonna be an exciting season.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Also, didn't want to glaze over the fact that just because Daniel Deemer's casting dropped at San Diego Comic-Con, we haven't really talked about it, but
We hadn't talked about it
I'm
previously,
really excited to
but
see him as Tyson. I loved him in the half of it.
yes,
What a great movie.
I would agree. If you've heard of the half of it and you're interested, you might also enjoy Saving Face, which is the only other film made by the creator of the half of it and is iconic.
If you've heard of the half of it, your Wikipedia might say bisexual. No, I think it was a successful movie many people heard of. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it came out like fully when everyone was at home and was well received. So
Yeah.
probably you anyway.
Yeah.
Daniel Deemer is the football player
Mhm.
who is one of the 3 points in the
Yeah,
why
it's
do I always forget the name of this story?
It starts with a C. Oh, Cyrano.
Cyrano.
Yeah.
There we go. The story where one person's helping another person woo the third person, but also the
Love
first
letters.
person is
Yeah.
into the third person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he was great in it. Very charming.
Yeah, definitely stream the half of it. That scene where they're
The
like
Tyson energy is
they're
there.
like in the like little like pond together swimming around lives rent free in my brain.
I think about that a lot.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And he is so good in that movie. Like the final scene in that movie, it's like a train going away scene.
Mhm.
Is that a spoiler? I don't think that's a spoiler to say that somebody takes a train at the end of the movie.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's in the train and he is so he's so effusive that he makes a scene that could feel very plain in a screenplay sing because he just has so much energy.
Yeah.
And so much actual effusive goodwill,
emotional
about him.
vulnerability, likability,
Yes.
like lovability,
Yes.
yeah, vulnerability.
He's like so disarming in this
Yeah.
movie with how much he just kind of like forms his character forms a relationship with one of the other characters' dads that is so cute in this movie. And I think is very like Tyson coded. Just like seeing someone who's sitting there by themselves and not saying anything to you and deciding that you're just going to try to be nice to them, even though no one's really modeling any interactions for you with this person and just seeing what happens. Anyway,
Yeah.
Good luck to him. I'm sure he's going to do great.
He's going to do great. He's going to break our hearts over and over and over again. I'm really excited. And yeah, I think that's everything. If you have more thoughts, let us know. Shoot us a message. There's now a comment section on Spotify. They got rid of the Q&A, which is a bummer, but there's now a comment section. So you can like comment stuff. So shoot us a comment on the Spotify if that's where you're listening, or send us a message on socials or anything like that.
Tell us about your relationship with Margaret Cho.
Yeah. Or Kristen or Sandra.
Yeah.
Or Wikipedia. If you're one of those people fighting over the 1800s Wikipedia pages, let us know.
I would love to be the kind of person who 300 years from now has like teenagers fighting over my Wikipedia page.
Oh, that would be.
And like what?
That's iconic status.
The gender markers are going to be in whatever language they're using.
All right. Well, I don't know when we're going to get more content. My guess is to be like at the earliest New York Comic Con. I kind of wonder if they have to make an appearance at New York Comic Con this year, or if they could skip it. No, they'll probably do one, right? If they came to San Diego Comic Con, they'll come to New York Comic Con.
Isn't San Diego the biggest Comic Con though? Like
it is. Well, we don't know, but maybe October we could get some more crumbs. Oh, the one other thing that I thought was a really big deal is that one of the posters, I think it was on TikTok, says streaming 2025.
Oh, yes, that is a big deal.
That's a huge
It's
deal.
true. For them to be currently filming and to commit, like, even if it's December 2025, that's still a not inevitable schedule for editing.
And I kind of don't think it will be December. I'm kind of thinking fall.
It should be summer.
Summer, it should be, but I think we could settle. We could meet in the middle on fall.
I think it should be August.
It should be August.
Like it should be hurricane season. It should be typhoon season.
Monsoon season, back to school season. Okay, let's like manifest August and Manny Jacinto, and it'll happen. I'm excited.
You know, actually, I don't know if it should be Apollo. My new thing in my head that I'm rooting for Manny Jacinto. Don't you think it'd be kind of sick for him to play Quintus? This is the actual career pivot that I would love. Oh my
gosh, you know what?
For Manny Jacinto.
Talk about like multiple. Yeah, you know what he's been doing? Like we talked about in our Patreon episode, where he like plays one character, but then he's playing another the entire time in both The Good Place and in The Acolyte.
Yes,
it follows his career trajectory.
Following the career trajectory and picking like also like two totally. I feel like Daedalus and Quintus are both like would be weird choices for him, but he wouldn't
also be playing.
I see Daedalus. The vision for him.
There would be another actor in the flashbacks.
Is this finally the Manny Jacinto Dev Patel?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Manny Jacinto is Quintus, but Dev Patel is Daedalus. I actually have goosebumps.
Our patrons know that we've been discussing specifically how Manny Jacinto and Dev Patel will end up in the same piece of media for a bit now. We did a Dev Patel themed Patreon episode, and then we also did a Manny Jacinto themed Patreon episode.
This could be it.
Wouldn't that be so fun for them?
Oh gosh, yeah. Bring some light to what will be a very emotionally tormented season 4 for us. I can't wait. You know what? The one other thing I want to say about manifesting, New York Comic Con announce multi-season renewal.
Oh, yeah.
It's never a bad day.
It's never too early to announce that we're getting the Titans Curse.
Never a bad day to announce the Titans Curse all at once. Once again, Disney, do not let Netflix show you up. You can do it.
We might. Okay, wait. The other, because we do need another announcement here. I think the big other casting thing, we don't have any more gods appearing who we haven't met before because we've already met Hermes. Polyphemus is the new one.
We need Polyphemus. We also need Tantalus. We haven't cast
Tantalus.
Haven't announced. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a person on set for that now, but
who knows? Maybe it's Manny Jacinto.
Wouldn't that be something? Wow, real career pivot.
Actually, okay, so if you have nothing else to comment, will you comment, please, who you think is going to play Tantalus? That would be fun.
And Polyphemus. I'm actually very curious about the Polyphemus casting.
Yeah, it could be anyone.
And Cersei. We haven't gotten Cersei yet. There's actually a lot. There's a lot that we haven't done yet. Cersei
is the big one.
Blackbeard. Wouldn't someone love to show up again for one day, have a nice weekend in Vancouver, and then play Blackbeard for
well, I bet they'll get somebody.
Seconds.
I kind of think that they'll get somebody from Black Sails. If not the actual actor who played Edward Teach, like I think that they'll get a pirate. They could just get a bunch of them. Like whoever wanted to come to Vancouver to play all of the guinea pigs once they get transformed.
Play all the pirates. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Okay. Anyway, yes, much to look forward to.
Yeah. Let us savor this moment because again, crumbs until 2025. So yay. Okay, if you're still listening, thank you for being here. Let us know all of your thoughts, and we'll be back with the Red Pyramid this week. So tune in for that.
Bye, all.